Arizona sports, the local sports leader. He played tackle in the NFL for more than a decade. Max Starks. Maximum football.
Please welcome, from the University of Florida, tackle Max Starks.
Max Starks is here. I assumed with the schedule that Max Starks has that this might be over the phone. I walked out the door and Max Starks was standing there.
That's right. I'm here. It's the beginning of the season.
It is.
You got to set the precedent. You got to set the standard early.
Tone setter, Max Starks.
That's right.
Jacked up, Max.
I am ecstatic, man.
Football is back.
Both footballs are back because I love college. And college was back last week, but now we have the big brother.
Okay.
Right? He's come back off of vacation. He's back in the house. He's kicked his feet up on the ottoman, and it's time to get it done, man. You are the remote control, little brother.
We are going to get into college with you in a little bit, but we're going to start with the news that just came out, even though the Cardinals have not said it. Although this news, I thought, kind of came out when they traded for Josh Dobbs. I thought Adam Schefter had tweeted out Dobbs is expected to be the starter like a week and a half ago. Either way, Ian Rappaport just tweeted out in the last 20 minutes that Josh Dobbs is expected to be the starter on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. So let's just start there, Max. If it is Josh Dobbs, he's never taken a snap in live game action for the Cardinals, but he's also a rocket scientist. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, about that. So you can be a rocket scientist. Trust me. Hey, there's some people who are great at theory, and then there's other people who are great at practical application of said theory. A rocket scientist is more of a theorist. It's always amazing to me because you go into camp and you feel like you have a good handle on who your guys are. You know who the morale leaders are. The captains, the old guard, right? You know, the vets in the room. And you're going into the season knowing that Kyler Murray is not available. He's not available for the first month of the season. And you said, you know what? Rookie and new guy. I don't even think the hello, my name is name tag has fallen off of Josh Dobbs' jersey yet. And
he should put it on there for game one.
He should put that on there. I mean, it will be on the back, but he can't read that.
Yeah.
He wants everybody to see him.
Yeah.
You know, from
want
the
to
front.
make a good impression.
Yeah. At least, hi, my name is Josh, and then you can look on the back. Oh, Dobbs.
Maybe
yeah,
some
there we
team
go.
building skills. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, maybe a little blind trust falls or something in the locker room, but it's a very interesting predicament. But here's what I think: if you are going to start Josh Dobbs or a rookie, when in doubt, run it out. I think this will be an offense predicated on the run game.
Yeah.
You got a lot of tight ends there. So line up at 12 and 21 personnel, guys. And we are going to do this the old-fashioned way until we get Kyler back, because I think that's what you have to do. Because even if Josh Dobbs studies the playbook day and night, doesn't sleep, walks with it everywhere, goes through every single play, draws it up in his little Polly Pocket notebook, there's not enough requisite reps in an NFL practice to get you ready to have chemistry. So how do you do that? Well, when in doubt, I know I can hand the ball off. I know the footwork mechanics, they're universal across the world. And you're going to go there and then work your way into unlocking more of this type of playbook. You're not going to see him throwing Hollywood Brown 5 streak routes, in this game, running 5-man pro. That's just not going to happen. But you can set up a run offense that's pretty easy to run, and then work your play action, your short screen game, some now game in there to get the game going.
The thing that just blows my mind is how many times have you heard a coach scream on the field, "This isn't rocket science." Right? I mean, you've heard a coach say that, right? What are you doing? This is not rocket science. And here you got a guy who's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, he's here to I concur, but
yeah, it's a situation where you got to go out and you got to execute it once again. I think you're so right on it, too. The key to the entire season, this is, for me, the entire season, offensively, defensively, and in transition with special teams for the Arizona Cardinals, the key is the offensive line. How well that offensive line plays, I think, will set off a chain reaction that will reach not only on the offense, but through the defense, special team, all of it, because it's all tied to being able to run the ball and protect the quarterback.
And the better you run that ball, the better you protect that quarterback, the more time you bleed off the clock, which last time I checked, defensive linemen love the bench more than they love the field.
Yeah.
And if you can keep them on the bench,
Chain
they will be your
reaction.
best friends, right? So that's where you set the tempo, you set the tone, and it is a bit old school, right? To say we're going to come out here and we're going to run the ball and chew up clock.
You better believe it's old school.
Yeah.
I don't apologize for it.
No,
either.
because everybody wants points. Everybody wants all of the high-flying 50-yard passes, circus grab catches. And at the end of the day, it's still about winning or losing. Who has the ball last usually is in a better position. If you can possess the ball longer than your opponent, you have a better shot at winning.
Jonathan Gannon, we had the quotes from earlier, and he's said this a few times now, that he sees it as an advantage if Washington doesn't know who his starting quarterback is, Max. So I guess a two-part question. How big of an advantage do you see that as being? And then the second part is, the Cardinals didn't announce their quarterback. Ian Rappaport did. So if I'm Washington, am I preparing any differently? Just because Ian Rappaport said it's Josh Dobbs? Or, what's the prep look like now for this game?
Exactly the same.
Yeah,
It doesn't really. It's different if you were saying, okay, we have Jordan Love starting, and then all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers shows up. Yeah, that's a different prep. But Clayton Tune, Josh Dobbs. I mean, if I got two quarterbacks, I got none, right? So,
But you wouldn't go ahead as a coach and announce who you were going to start, would you?
No, I still am not.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
It doesn't matter for me. I mean, at this point, I'm playing. I'm just enjoying playing the game.
Right.
But if I'm Washington, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like The Rock says, who's your starting quarterback? It doesn't matter who your quarterback is.
But again, if you were JG, you wouldn't give your opponent any aid, comfort, and shelter by letting them know who you're going to start, right?
I mean, it's basically do we have to watch 85 extra pass plays or not?
Yeah,
right.
It's not like you're debating between Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Right?
Exactly.
It's like they're going to break it down. I guarantee you.
With Baker Mayfield, yes, you have to watch a little bit more film, but I mean, Josh Dobbs, no, I'm not stressing over it. Oh gosh, okay, we have to watch this. No.
I don't have 9 minutes to spend on this.
Yeah, exactly. Where's my DoorDash coming? No.
So do you think this offensive line is up to the task in regard to protecting a Clayton Tune? Because at some point in time, I think we're going to see Clayton Tune.
Yeah.
I do. Look, even if Kyler comes back week number 5 against the Cincinnati Bengals, which is home, of course, at State Farm Stadium.
Thank goodness.
And I think, honestly, seriously, that is the game where I think maybe there's a chance that he could come back and actually play. But who knows? But even in the first 4 games, I expect to see Clayton Tune at some point in time as well.
I would expect that because he actually was here running the offense at some point in the preseason, right? And in the offseason. So he would have a little bit more.
Don't you want to see that if you're JG?
Well, yeah, because I don't have anything else to watch. I mean, just watch the new guy. Watch the guy at least that I know can go out and run the plays and has called him in the huddle before, and we have film on him. So I think it behooves them to give both of these guys a shot, right? Because I want to know who my number 2 is going to be when Kyler does get back.
Right.
And if I can have a Clayton Tune as my number 2 instead of a Josh Dobbs, I need to know if that's right or wrong. Or if Josh Dobbs is that much better, he's fast-tracked that much, okay, well, then I'll keep him as a 2 and let Clayton Tune be my emergency 3rd. You have to figure that out first, though.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes down to. So I think both these guys should be playing. It shouldn't just fall on just one choice, whatever that may be for Jonathan Gannon.
Just feels like it's going to be James Conner with 65 carries in the first game, and Wolf being like, "Yes, this is what I always wanted."
Yeah,
exactly.
Ingram as well. Feed the beast.
Get him in there for about 10 or 15.
Exactly. Is Kelvin Beachum playing fullback? No, he's your 6th lineman.
No, Jesse Luquette. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see
Luquetta.
it. Oh, okay.
Jesse Luquetta actually, 6'3", 255 pounds, lined him up at fullback in the last preseason game, and he held up well, I might add.
Okay, there we go.
You got Wolf talking about fullbacks.
I had to get
his come out. How about Jesse Luquetta is the fullback in the I formation, Tune under center, Amari DiMercato the tailback. Turn, give, no play action fake, Tune, deep drop, looking, flush to his right, hits the check down, it's Luquetta at the 25, and the outside linebacker with a couple of moves. Spins on a 1 tackle and takes it across the 30. He's just shy of a first down, but we have a flag down in the field as the Cardinals sideline enjoys it.
It's number 78. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It was fun while it lasted. Text us your thoughts to the FanDuel text line at 620 right now. When we come back, what stood out to Max Starks week 1 around college football? Maximum Football continues next. It's Wolf and Luke on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. All right, welcome back to the show. Max Starks is joining us for Maximum Football, which means it is football season.
It is football season.
And look, you said this before, Max. The NFL's starting up tomorrow, actually, which is just a great thing to say. College got started really like 2 weekends ago, but especially this past weekend.
Why do they say week 0? It's really week 1 because it's not like it's one team playing to get. It used to be just Hawaii that would get the advantage because they have to travel so far. But now everybody, like, they had about 7, 8 games, and then so I'm like, it's not really week 0.
No, it's not. Did you have to work week 0?
No, I did not. I actually took off week 0 because I had the Thursday nighter to finish the season in Atlanta. And so I did not want to have to fly all the way to California when I still had to go back to training camp and pack up my dorm room.
Your dorm room.
Yeah.
But you did have 2 games this past weekend, and this was a crazy weekend of college football in terms of just bursting onto the scene.
Where do you begin when you think of week 1 in college football?
I mean, it's tough to pick a starting point because, I mean, I had the early game. So I had the noon kickoff Eastern time. And so I had UVA, Tennessee. I was in Nashville. So it was the new Joe Milton after the Hendon Hooker, project to see what was going to happen. Obviously, UVA coming off of 294 days off because of the tragic shooting of teammates coming home from a class trip. So their season ended early.
Yeah.
So the emotion of that game, and then you have Colorado TCU kicking off the same time for the big noon kickoff. And I'm getting those updates while listening to that. So that was just like the appetizer, right, of the day. And then later on, you see what Oregon does in their game. You see what Ole Miss does. I mean, Oklahoma, like teams scoring over 70 points on opponents. And then you have LSU, FSU, right? I mean, who would have predicted that game last year? I called that game. It came down to a blocked field goal at the end of the game for FSU to win. And this was not last year's game.
No, it was not.
This was not.
You could not have been happy with Florida, though. You could not have been happy.
I was trying to perfectly go around that one.
He talked about every game except the Florida game.
I did not talk about Thursday night football. Yeah.
Did you? Was that not a big upset in the Starks compound?
It wasn't an upset because I thought, man, going to Utah, going to Elevation, I don't know if they can pull this game off, but I did not expect it to look as bad as it looked. I think that's what I'm more disappointed in was the pre-snap penalties, right? The illegal formations, the fact that the offensive line couldn't hold water in those moments. Graham Mertz, I was not a fan of Graham Mertz, but when we got him over in the transfer portal, the defense looked inept. I mean, it was everything that could have gone wrong in a game went wrong in that game, and it just looked like they did not belong on the field. I think that was what was the more disappointing thing about it because I didn't expect them to win that game, but it was at least show up and at least give us something to say, okay, they're figuring it out. They're going to do some things. And I can't point to really any positive point in that because the receivers look terrible too.
That's always encouraging when you can't find one positive thing after 60 minutes
once again,
of football.
It was better athletes, better speed, I think, for the most part out there. But the line of scrimmage was dominated on both sides by Utah.
Man. Those polys put it on those boys. I mean, number 0. And the guy has number – you're never supposed to get beat by a guy with the number 0. It's not even – it's not even a real number.
Max,
you know what I'm saying?
Max is opposed to number 0 and week 0. That's what
I'm opposed to both of those things because it's not a real week. Just call it 1, right? We start with 1. When you're asked to count as a kid, do you say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? No, you say 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't say 0. 0's at the end.
What are we teaching these kids?
Jeez.
What Colorado, and I guess you can even lump this in with what you saw on the Utah side of things in the Florida game. Pac-12's 13-0. And we were talking about this, the other day. It's not just 13-0. It's like you got 3 legit Heisman candidates. Colorado's like the talk of college football right now because of Dion and because of get Travis Hunter playing
and Shedeur
every snap.
throwing for 500 yards.
They're going to be a fun team. It's almost like rubbing salt in the wound that the Pac-12 is going to fold after this season, Max, because there's like some legitimate contenders in there this year.
Isn't it so bittersweet right now if you're the Pac-12 about what could have been? Because you are now literally the Pac-2. And about to be Pac-0 and Pac-none. As much as I love zeros, right?
There's a theme here.
I reference that. But the fact that you have 6 legit quarterbacks in the Pac-12, 6 of them that are highly touted and are pretty much looking pretty good. I mean, you think of Michael Penix Jr., you think of Bo Nix as well, on top of the surprise of Shedeur Sanders. And then, of course, there's Caleb Williams just sitting there and just being cool, calm, collected. So I look at that and I'm just like, man, if this conference stayed together, we're going to have expansion coming. Man, this could have really been a renaissance for the Pac-12. And USC, UCLA, gone. Oregon, Washington, gone. And then everybody else defects, Big 12, etc. And now you have Cal, Stanford talking about going to the ACC. I would have never thought the ACC could have pulled that off or been attractive enough to bring a team all the way from California.
Just stop.
Yeah,
Northern California.
Stop. Yeah, Northern California
even
at
further.
that, even further. So it's one of those things I look at it and I'm just like, man, I was like, well, at least they're going to go out with a bang, right? I mean, the 30 for 30 on this is going to be amazing, right? In about another 10 years. But it is tough to see that when you see that there's so much good brewing in, and now you're going to go assemble into the super conferences. And the new super conference era will be beginning in earnest next year.
So tell me you needed a barf bag for the Colorado TCU game.
Oh, boy,
tell me you needed a barf bag. I needed a barf bag. I'm sorry.
I mean,
tell me you hated that game.
Absolutely not.
Why?
It's a fun game.
Why?
I am.
Where's
listen,
the struggle?
He's going to tell you you're ruining football like
in
he
the
told me.
words of my good friend Bertrand Berry, I am Petty Crocker. I'm here for the pettiness. I'm here for the comments on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to post. I'm just here to scroll and troll, right?
Oh, you could be scrolling for a long time.
Yeah.
You crushed me today, Max.
No.
You just crushed me.
Listen. I love Coach Prime. And now, do I like everything that he does? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to get into my commentary about the whole HBU situation. But the fact that you have a coach that is as proud as he is, that is as flamboyant as he is, coming in and you do it with pretty much overhauling the entire roster. 70% new players on this squad.
Got no problem with it. I loved it.
Yeah, he said, it can't be done. Can't be done. You're gonna suck. You have a crappy program that went 1 win last year. You're going to suck for years, and then maybe you'll be humbled a little bit, and then you'll have to rise up the ranks. But we know it's prime time. Did you watch him at FSU?
Yeah, but Max, but you know what? Again, there's over 1,100 yards of offense. Where's the defense?
No.
It was 45-42. That was barf
They're
bag.
getting ready for the Big 12, okay?
He's
ready
Wolf
for the
is
Big
just
12.
mad because he missed Prime 3 times on 1 kickoff return.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
wasn't it great to see Shedeur Sanders? I mean, absolutely
Throwing for
shred.
500 yards? No.
Yeah, 3 different receivers. Was it 3 or 4 different receivers over
4.
100 yards? 4
And
for
one of
over
them was a
100 yards.
cornerback that was
Yeah.
also a receiver.
Masquerading as a wide receiver. He had 10 catches for
Max,
117 yards. I mean, but I loved Travis Hunter. This was the #1 recruit in the country and chose to go to Jackson State over every other Power 5 school, and people then tried to throw him in the trash after he chose Jackson State. So for him to get on this Power 5 stage a couple years later and do what he did, absolutely loved it.
That was the highlight of the game for me. Was that
Absolutely
he
loved
just played the entire game.
He just didn't come out. He was like, all right, okay, just switch on this side. Okay, so I'm
just
defense
had to
this
turn
play,
around
right?
at the end of each quarter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like instead of a DB, now I'm going up against a wide receiver. It doesn't change anything. I still catch balls.
All right, when we come back, the NFL season is starting tomorrow. What are the biggest storylines that we and Max Starks are going to be watching? Maximum Football continues next. It's
Arizona sports.
Boom.
Breaking news.
what you got, Aaron?
Alrighty, according to multiple reports, Nick Bosa has agreed to a 5-year, $170 million extension with the 49ers, including $122.5 million guaranteed by a wide margin. It will make him the highest-paid defensive player in history.
Wow, that is a lot of money for Nick Bosa, man.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wow. Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty good right there.
Hey, well, I'll see him on Sunday, guys.
Oh, good timing for you, Max.
Yeah,
Steelers,
great timing
Niners this weekend.
They couldn't figure this out next Wednesday. Had to be this Wednesday.
Well, he's got to start earning that $170 million.
Yeah, I just had this feeling, didn't you, that he was going to sign late in, playing the edge, of course, knowing the defense. He's very familiar with it. He could step right in. He's Nick Bosa.
Play. Yeah.
You knew it was like, okay, we're going to bring this right up to the end, and I thought it'd be Friday. And he could have signed on Friday and played on Sunday, if you ask me.
Yeah, could have just signed it while going to the team plane.
Right.
In pregame warm-ups, just have a little ceremony.
I'm just going to ink this, real fast before I lace my shoes up.
Right around the coin toss and everything. Well, I mean, that's a game changer. We were down to basically Bosa. I mean, the Jonathan Taylor stuff is kind of separate, I guess, for now since he's on the PUP list. But it was down to Bosa and Chris Jones, two huge defensive players that hadn't signed. Just the way it was trending, it seemed like Bosa was more likely to get his deal done first, and that's obviously what happened because Chris Jones plays tomorrow. So
he's not playing.
He's not getting. Yeah,
he is not playing.
Let me rephrase that. Chris Jones' team plays tomorrow. Probably not
the
Chris
team
Jones.
To hold the rights of Chris Jones is playing tomorrow.
All right, Max. You look at these. Let's start with that. Let's start with the game tomorrow night. Lions Chiefs. I mean, when you look at some of the storylines for Week 1 of this season, it's easy to have your eyes jump to that game because you got the defending Super Bowl champs. And all that they do and the way they play and the way they can score against Detroit, who, with all due respect, I mean, I kind of like what the Lions are building, but they haven't proven anything yet.
Kneecaps. Biters of kneecaps.
Biters of kneecaps.
No biting here. How about I just rip your sternum out?
There we go.
I can't even believe you had that.
I feel wind underneath my freaking wings, man.
Has anybody ever said, how about I rip your sternum out, and then Bette Midler started playing within 1 second?
Yeah.
Anywhere on the face of the earth.
Only here.
Only here.
No, but I mean, I look forward to it because, this is the crown jewel moment. This is the last victory lap for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They get the home game Thursday night. You're the first game on for the year. You celebrate the Super Bowl victory of last year. But as soon as that is over, turn the page.
Yeah.
The 2023 chapter of the NFL starts in earnest, and the journey for all 32 teams begins on that moment. And now it's for real. Everything counts. And I think the emotion of that, I love, like you said, I love what Detroit's building. And I think they could very well win their division this year.
They are definitely the trendy team that everybody's picking.
Yeah, they're the sexy pick because of Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson another year. You look at how this offensive line is built. The culture.
Yes.
They go 60 minutes. And as a guy who's witnessed it personally, watching Dan Campbell's team play, they don't quit. If it's 3 seconds left and the team's taking a knee, they're firing off the football and hitting the offensive line. So you better guard your neck because they're coming at you, trying to see if anything can happen. I think that's something that just emanates, right? That's what we want.
Listen, Max, I'm going to tell you right now, that's exactly what I think Monty Ossenfort and JG are going for with the Arizona Cardinals. The same type of culture, the same type of mentality of saying we're going to be physical. And by the way, I'm going to demand that you're physical. And if you're not physical, guess what? You're not going to work here. You're not.
Yeah.
Even if you're a wide receiver, it's not going to fly here. You need to go somewhere else. If you're not going to be Anquan Bolden, if you're not going to be physical, you get what I'm saying.
No, I know
I'm
exactly what you're meaning, yeah.
I'm just saying it's one of the reasons why I'm jacked up about what the Cardinals are doing. They might win 3 games this year. Might win 3 games. But to me, again, what they're doing is very Detroit Lion-like.
Well, and you have to set the culture, especially when you're a new head coach.
You know how important
You've never done this before. You're now in this position. You had to clean house. You have to rebuild this thing from the ground up. It's going to suck. Clearing a dirty lot to get a clean lot so you can get a good foundation is tough work. And you have to be ready to go through that ugly period, right? If you want long hair, guess what, Wolf? You got to go through the ugly phase, right? You got to go through the ugly phase, the part where it doesn't quite part yet, right. and it's sticking up, it's frizzy. No matter how much gel you put in, you've got to go through the ugly phase.
Bob going on.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
There.
It's right at my ear length. It's not to the shoulder yet. You know, it's like
is it 1996 or what's happening?
It's like, should I cut? Should I not cut? I have to cut. I can't look at myself in the mirror. But you're like, no, you sacrifice to get to the long length.
That's right, man.
You got to get it. If you
Just
want
don't put it up on top of your head.
Don't
like
go
a
top
bun.
knot. Don't go top
that.
knot. No top knots here.
Doing?
No,
Aunt
just let
Mabel.
just live it. Bask in the ugliness right now. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what you just have. I think that's where the Cardinals have to do. You have to bask in the ugliness. You have to take
in
it.
the ugly.
Yes,
the
bask in
takeaway
the
from
ugly.
this segment.
Yes, it is.
I want to ask you about the rookie quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, obviously you're familiar with. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I mean, I guess Clayton Tune could be considered one, but how about just the rookie quarterbacks that were taken at the top of the draft that are all going to start apparently? So here we go.
Here we go, and it's going to look ugly. Carolina. I love Frank Reich as a coach. And I get you got to do the same thing. You got to go through the ugliness of it. But Bryce Young got tossed around this preseason when he was in there. And that's what I fear. Once it's real and you got starters in earnest that also have bonuses.
Yes.
Counting for sacks and hits.
David Carr.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Think of David Carr. I watched that personally
David
on the
Carr.
sidelines as our defense had 6 sacks on him. It's going to get ugly for Carolina. I think Houston, of the three, I feel C.J. Stroud might have the better year because I think he has a little bit more to work with around him. Anthony Richardson, the accuracy issues and a lot of the other kind of team elements, I don't know, but he's athletic enough that he's going to make them right when they're wrong in a lot of situations, but I don't know if he can win the critical moment yet. I think he has to still grow because this kid only has 13 games under his belt as a starter before he made the jump to the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's where it's going to be a stark learning curve. Bryce Young has played at the highest level. So he knows what to do. He just doesn't have the squad to support what he's trying to do. And for C.J. Stroud, successful mid-grade talent around him, he can make more with less. And you also have Will Anderson on the other side of the ball for Houston. So I think Houston fares a little bit better than the other two.
As far as your Steelers, real quick, that matchup with the 49ers, I mean, you're feeling pretty good about the Steelers overall this season.
I was until the breaking news sounder happened.
So maybe not week one as much, but just in general.
Well, no. I still feel really good. I think this game will score. They're going to score points. With Brock Purdy, I think you have something. But here's the thing that's going to be interesting is Brock Purdy, the book is out now. You put enough games out there that every defensive coordinator has you on the schedule has started to game plan you.
Yeah.
So how is he going to react with that? Now, we still don't know the status of George Kittle. That's going to be another big part of their offense missing if he's not available to play. But you still have Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and company.
A lot of weapons.
So I think you're still going to have the weapons. Nick Bosa makes that defense so much better because Nick Bosa actually accounted for I want to say 57%, if not 60% of their total sacks last year.
He's accounting for about 60% of their salary
and
cap
not only
now,
that,
too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He dictates protection as well.
And he moves to both sides.
You can almost anticipate, yes, but the protection, you can almost anticipate what teams are going to do, and that allows defensive coordinators to scheme pressure as well.
Yeah, they scheme pressure, but I think, him lining up over Dan Moore, our left tackle, it's going to be a great matchup because I think Dan's grown a whole lot this year, and Dan's been in the fire for the last 2 years. So I think this is going to be a really good matchup. But yeah, you're going to still see chips. You're still going to see body presence by tight ends in there. But I don't know if I fear the rest of that defensive line one-on-one, even though there is a Javon Hargrave. They bring him over from Philly. Well, it was a nice addition in the middle to get an interior push. But it's still I mean, it's going to be a good game. I really feel good about the Steelers. I'm very bullish on them this season because I look at the depth. We haven't had depth in a couple of years, and now we can say we have depth at a lot of positions, and we have a former Cardinal on there. We have Patrick Peterson on the squad now.
Pat Pete.
How we decided to do it is I picked them, and there's a reason why I picked them, and they have a role for our team, and I explained to our team what their role and their responsibility is. And felt really good about those conversations. Our team felt really good about the guys that we ended up picking. And, those guys could, if I was gone for a month, they could run the team. And I feel really good about those guys. They demonstrate who we want to be as an organization, who we want to be as a team. And, I'm excited for those guys because they were excited too.
What do you think of just the idea that the coach named the captains, Max?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Everywhere I've been in my entire football career, captains are voted on by the players.
Yeah.
Because those are the guys that they see as leaders, the ones who matter on the field, actually in the fire with you. This is the guy that keeps us all sane. This is the guy that rallies the troops when things get tough. Those are the ones we can depend on. Not from the oversighting view of the coach. So the coach, regardless of who he wants, it's usually the masses that get that vote. And to take that power away from players, especially when you're a new head coach, does not do a lot to ingratiate yourself with the players because there's already been questionable moves where it could tempt morale to dip. And this only further does that. And I'm sorry. And I'm going to say this on the airwaves, guys, so I apologize in advance.
That's good.
I know your status and your standing, Wolf, with the team.
What about my status and my standing?
It's all good. We're not talking about the Coyotes. We're good.
We don't care about Luke's status.
I'm just going to say this. Kyler Murray running the team if I left for a month. No.
No?
Absolutely not. Because every locker would have a PlayStation in it and a gamer tag.
Yeah, okay, great. You know what's funny about it, though, Max? I think I agree with everything you just said, except for the first year. When you're laying the foundation the way that you are right now, and they are laying the foundation. They're totally wiping out and rebuilding. That's what they're doing right now. I know exactly the models that I want for my culture. They can't, year one, I'm going to give them grace on that. I love the fact that they did this. They needed to come in and say, no, we're not going to do it this way anymore. You guys did it your way. We'll do it our way. And now it's time for Monty Ossenfort, brand new general manager, brand new head coach, brand new coaching staff to say, this is what we value in a player. This is what we want in a player. That's why I'm okay with it, because they're setting their culture. They want guys modeling what it is they want and what they believe. And because of that, I'm down with that.
I still don't see how Kyler Murray fits into that because Kyler Murray's not practicing. So you put him in a position.
But he is going to at some point in time, right?
But by the time you picked this, you have not seen him practice at this point. So you've had conversations with him, but practical application of theory, you have not seen him play. Listen, I agree with everybody else on here. I love James Conner, Budda Baker, DJ Humphries, Dennis Gardeck.
Yeah, some of these were no-brainers.
No-brainers. It's just that if you're going to set this precedent,
but you believe he's your franchise quarterback.
I don't know if I believe that.
They do.
Okay, if you get the number 1 overall pick, you're saying the Cardinals are trading back.
Let me just say this right now. If you tell me Kyler Murray evolves in this offense under center, I realize that.
Yeah.
But to me, I expect him to do that, Max. Okay. I do. He's incredibly talented. He's got talent. If he evolves his game, and that's what this season, I've said this. This is what I believe. It's not about wins. This season is about whether or not Kyler Murray can play under center and evolve his game. Or not.
I'll just jump in and say this, Max. I felt good about the idea of Caleb Williams if it came down to that. I don't feel quite as good after reading that GQ story this morning, but we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out.
That was his dad. That was not his words.
Dad.
It was his dad's words, not his.
Yeah.
And listen,
just the entitlement. Don't get me started.
Well, I mean, Eli Manning. Trust me, I was in the draft that happened. Right?
I saw it.
Yeah.
And I said the exact same thing at the time. Eli Manning did it. No.
John Elway did it as well. Let's not forget that. He said he was going to go play for the Yankees if he went to the Baltimore Colts.
Yes.
So there are other precedents that have been set.
And I said the exact same thing about them. You entitled dude.
Yeah, but I think, for me, I get setting this precedent, and I get what you're trying to establish, but it's still... Look, you still have to play this season with guys, and you need them to trust you implicitly and not fold.
True.
So you still have to have a delicate balance, and I haven't seen the compromising side of it all yet. Right? Because it's been iron fist the entire time.
And I love that. Because right now, when you're trying to do something different, though, Max, you've got... But what they had here was not working.
No, it wasn't. I completely agree with that. It was not working, and it was almost toxic to a degree when your head coach can't talk to the quarterback. But also your quarterback refusing to go under center, and now he's with this new head coach, and all of a sudden he's going to compromise that and say, you know what, I'll go under center. That's where I'm like, well, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in my head, I'm like, it took this for that, even though a guy
Tyler's got an awful lot to prove.
He's got an awful lot to prove that he's actually matured first, and then, like you said, then the evolution has to happen.
And then, of course, the plot twist that Cliff Kingsbury is in USC right now coaching Caleb Williams, too, if you just want to put a nice bow on everything.
Well, he also coached Johnny Manziel, as we saw from that documentary. So,
that was a good documentary.
That was a very great
Johnny.
And Johnny's somewhere around here, and apparently he lives in Scottsdale.
That's true.
So
if Johnny's listening, feel
he's
free to come
grilling
into
and
the
chilling
studio.
somewhere.
Oh, wow, Johnny.
We'll do a segment with Johnny Manziel. That'd be
any
great.
tape? None?
I believe he actually said 0. And
he did hold up 0, and then he did think that he could go to Vegas on a Saturday and be back on Sunday for a game.
Well, you got to test your
while
limits.
booking on Priceline.
You got to
by the way,
your
as a first round, you're looking on Priceline for tickets at this
Their
point.
GM's calling me going, he doesn't watch tape. I'm like, well, he's got to watch some tape. It's like, EB, his iPad hours is 0.00.
0.
0.
See, we came full circle, Max. Back to week 0.
Back to zeros again.
Now you've set the precedent. You have to have a theme every week when you come in here.
Yeah, so zeros was the theme this week.
Yeah. All right. Max, thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you
My
again.
pleasure, guys, as always.